Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you once again for watching. Today's video is pretty much one of the most wanted videos. A few of my colleagues have requested if I could basically explain or show how this works. So what this is want to basically move Azure Sentinel Logs to a storage account. With Azure Sentinel Logs, the first 90 days in Log Analytics Workspace is free, after which is being charged. So most of our organizations would like to move their data after 90 days from the Log Analytics Workspace itself into storage account. Um, they've got a very good guide here. I'm just going to refer this guide. However, this guide here doesn't have a few nuances that you require to enable to get this actually working, which is the whole purpose of this video, to make your life simple. So as you see this in this part of this log here, there are a couple of things that they have discussed. First is basically the playbook itself. I will, by the way, I'll put this all these URLs in the description below. So there's nothing to stress about. Just enjoy this video and then look at it once it's complete. So if you click on this playbook, which is what we're going to discuss, and that's what you see here. I'm going to deploy this into Azure. I'm going to select my subscription. Once it's coming up, again, this is a logic app, by the way. I'm just going to go and select one of the, check which one can I put it to. Yep, I'll do Azure Sentinel Deploy East US. It's basically, this is the playbook name. I'm just going to change this name to LA to storage hyphen demo. It's going to ask you what is the workspace name that you want to actually move information from. The workspace that we are going to use is, we're just going to go into Log Analytics Workspace, and we are going to select this one here. I'm just going to open that up, and let's take the information from here. So the workspace name is Azure Sentinel Workspace. It's asking you what is the subscription ID. The subscription ID is just here. Click on subscription ID. Workspace resource group. Let me confirm that's the resource group here. Your email address, you can just put whichever email is support.joblo at samjomo.com. You need to give a name of the storage account. This has to be a new storage account that is not created before. Later on, I'll show you how you can actually use an existing storage account. So with this one, let's put a new storage account name. Let's say that is going to be LA storage new demo. I don't think we have, must be between 3 characters. AK LA storage. This should work. Oh, it's already taken. Wow, 1, 2, 3. This has to be unique, by the way, because storage accounts aren't accessible publicly, so this has to be unique. So that's taken as well. So let's go Sam Joe. This, hopefully you would expect this is not taken. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so that's what it is. So this is my new name. You would like to do storage v2 because you can enable retention, aka you can have after 7 years of data, any modified files can be deleted, yada yada. For those features, you need to have storage v2, which is what I would like to have. This container name is just a container in the blob. I'm just going to change that as YouTube demo LA. Next, review and create. And this is the information here, and I'm going to go and just create. I'm going to wait for this to complete, and I'll resume it again. Okay, so this is now complete. I'm going into the resource group. This is just the resource group. I always like to group by type. So if you see group by type, my storage account that we had was the last storage SamJoe1. We have created our logic app as move log analytics to storage. What else have we done? I think that's about it. Yep, okay, beautiful. So we have created our logic app. Now let's go into that logic app. So these are some steps that particular document doesn't mention, which is why I thought I'll put this video. So as you can see in this document, I have done that. They are explaining what this is. I will show you in a second. Um, if you go into that particular one, which is move log analytics storage, log analytics to storage, or was it LA storage demo? I used that before. Yep, there you go. That's LA storage. You will always find the first one as failed, so that's fine. What you need to go is go into the Logic App Designer, or you know what? One step before that, let's get the permissions sorted. Go to Identity, turn that to on, save. That's your first step. Once you do that, I'm just going to duplicate the screen here. I would want to go and give that managed identity blob storage contributor access in this at the subscription level. You can give it at the resource group level, but I'll just give it at the subscription level. So I'm going here, I'm going into my access control, role assignments, add role assignment. And over here, if I just talk, say, I think blob storage, yep, there you go. Blob storage, click on next. I'll go in and just say it's a managed identity, and I'm just going to go and select members. You would have to basically mention your Logic app. Now, my Logic app is called LA Storage Demo. I'm going to select, click next, review and assign. This is basically ensuring I have that particular Logic app has access to that subscription so it can read and write accounts from storage, from the storage account. Okay, so now that is done, our next step is going back to the Logic app, and in Logic App Designer, if you look at the very bottom, there is this connection that's invalid. If you click on that invalid connection, you click on Add New. Ideally, you should always use service principals. You wouldn't sign in with your account mainly because if you ever leave the company, this Logic app shouldn't fail. That's why you always have to connect using service principal. I already have a video there with how to connect with service principal, so please use that. Since I already have that, I've already done that, which I've got in my video, and I'll post that link as well in the description. I'm just going to use the one that I already have. So just cancel out of that, cancel out of that. This is the one that I've changed connection. This is the one that I've created, and that's what I'm going to use. Perfect. There's a couple of places where you will have to change the existing connection. Again, this is what that document doesn't show. So you go here into run query and search results. Go into connections first, go and change the existing connection or use a service principal there. That's first step. If you click on save, it's going to fail. So the next place where you do it is here. Click on run query here, go into change limits. Where is it? It's good that I'm doing it in real time so you see where I'm making those errors, you know. So it's just one of them. Let me keep going. Let me keep checking. Okay, keep checking. It's not a do. Yep. There you go. So I changed it here under connections. Again, under do, there is another invalid. Just click on that, and there you go. That's where it is. Here again, I'm using my service principal that I've just created. Done. Okay. Now, if I click on save, ideally, I should be able to save. So there are two places you need to change. One is in that connections section here, and also under for each under this connection here as well. Perfect. So click on overview. It is failed. That's fine. If I click on run trigger, there's not going to be any data, so possibly it may or may not fail because there's no data. That's okay. Let me see what. Okay, that's beautiful. So it showed me fail here. So the moment you see the fail, by the way, you go into that run history and it will tell you where exactly it failed. And this is good because it's real-time troubleshooting. So that's all working. this is a bad request. Okay, that's fine. What does it say? The provider, your subscription is mal-informed or invalid. Okay, okay, that's fine. It's an invalid subscription ID. So looks like my subscription ID is wrong. So let me just fix that up and let me get back to you because I got to put a different subscription ID. Okay, so as you can see that is there. So let's leave that for now. I'm going to troubleshoot in real time. So let's leave that. Let me proceed with what I need to do. So right now, as you can see, if I go now to my storage accounts, I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to show you the storage account that we created. So if I go back to my storage accounts, and the storage account that we just created would be the LA Store app here. And if you see the containers here, you would have the one here called YouTube Demo LA. However, if you open, there's nothing because I still haven't executed or done anything. So my next step here is I'm just going to generate some alerts from my log analytics workspace to Sentinel. I just want to get some workspace data. Before I do that, I've completely forgotten. In the script here, as you know, our initial script is for 90 days, aka after 90 days, you want to move the data from Log Analytics Workspace to Azure Storage account. However, for me, in this particular testing scenario, I don't want to wait for 90 days. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make it 0 days so I can show you guys the data that's coming into the storage account. So the moment the data hits the log analytics workspace, it's just going to go straight away into storage account. That's why I've put 0 days here. Update and yeah. So if I click on update, it'll change it. Yep, that's correct. And initialize end date. So start date and end date. So from 0 days onwards, it will update and move it to the storage account. Perfect. I'm going to save that. That's one other step I need to do. I've done that now. Now I'm going to see if I generate an alert and see how that goes. So I'm just going to go uh, into my Defender for storage. I have already have a video where I show how to integrate Defender for storage, or Defender for cloud or Azure Security Center to Azure Sentinel. I already have a video, so watch that video if you want to know how I trigger these alerts. So basically all what I'm doing is I'm just triggering an alert from from Defender for Cloud, which will then go into the Log Analytics workspace, so I can just get some data to copy into the storage account. So click on Sample Alerts. I'm going to wait for this. This might take a couple of minutes. I'm going to wait for this to first go there. I will show it to you once it's complete. Okay, so as you can see now, this one has pretty much run. The created sample alerts from my log analytics workspace. I then go in and check my Azure Sentinel incidents, and I can confirm the Azure Sentinel incident has recent. This is 5:45 p.m. and it's 5:47 p.m. here. Oh, it's two. Yep. So 2 minutes ago, it just you can see amp samples there. Perfect. Okay. So ideally, if I now go into my LA storage demo here, if I go into, I'll just take a sample here. Yeah, go here. And if I do a run trigger, there was an alert there saying that my subscription ID was wrong. Let me see. Okay, so it's the same thing. Okay, so let's go and do click on the failed. This is good troubleshooting exercise for you guys as well, just to see how we do it. Okay, so that's all okay. Run query and list results is bad request. If I click on the bad request, it says for whatever reason, same thing, invalid subscription ID is malinformed. Yeah, subscription. Control C. I've got my notepad here. So bring in this notepad. So I created this service account just maybe 3 or 4 hours before doing this video, so I might have to just recreate that service principal. You're lucky because you get to see it again without having to refer the other video. So I'm just going to see where this is. So the subscription ID. Okay, so let's leave it here. Let's go back. um, okay, and let's go in to the logic app designer itself. Let's go back to that place. This is where it failed, and it says that SAM export. I'm just going to change connection, and this time I'm going to just see one of the earlier ones that I've saved, if that's going to work. I've just changed it there, and let me save and see how that's going to do. If that fails, we'll just create a new one with all those details that I have shown here. Don't worry, all the storage account, everything, I will basically delete the moment we finish this video. So let me run trigger again. Let's hope for the best. Perfect. It failed again. That's great because I can show you how to fix it. And it's the same thing, isn't it? Uh, okay, invalid bad request. Okay, no worries. Right. So so I'm going to create a new service request. So I'm just going to, or new service principal. To do that, I go back to Logic App Designer. Export Sentinel. Uh, Export Sentinel. So I'm just going to go in Logic App Designer and run query. So that's the one, isn't it? So going there, change connection, add new. I'm going to connect with service principal. I already have one created, like how I've shown here. So I'm just going to fill in those details. Export. Export SAM Sentinel, something like that. Um, Going into the tenant ID. Okay, perfect. Going into the secret. Going into application ID. Application ID is the client ID, by the way. And let's say export SAM Sentinel new. Let's put that so I can understand it. That's just created here. Creating. Okay, and let me save this. Perfect. Let me go back and let me do a run trigger. Same thing. Interesting. Haven't seen this error before, so I just need to do some troubleshooting. Says a bad request. Invalid subscription ID unless and until, for whatever reason, my subscription has been disabled. So that's IDD. DD6F. Is that AD? That's my subscription ID for sure. Interesting. Don't know why. Anyway, let me fix this and let me come back to you. I'll tell you what I've done to fix it as well. Rather than you guys waiting for my answer. Okay, pretty simple or pretty silly. I actually had another logic app doing the same job. So before I did this, I actually did some testing to make sure everything is working before I started this presentation. And actually that one was referencing the same storage account, the same log analytics workspace, and the data was going there, which was why the contention is I was trying to do the same thing 2 times. I just went and deleted that particular log analytics workspace, and I've reverted back to the service principal that I initially created. Everything bang. works like a treat. At least I hope it works like a treat. It says it's running. So if I refresh here, still says failed. Wow, still going in the same place. I thought that fixed it. Um, Still going through some subscription ID. I highly doubt if there's any problem. This is definitely the subscription ID. I've not seen this in the past. I've done this many times. I think it's just referencing. It's either having a hazy fit or it's one of those Azure days that is not in favor of me today. So let me pause this video and once it's working, I'll let you know how it works. Cool. Okay, it's always fun troubleshooting, isn't it? So I thought I'm just going to find out what the problem is. So as you can see here, um, this one basically says your subscription for whatever reason is not connected. However, the message says the provider subscription identifier yada yada is malinformed or invalid. So I thought, okay, I'm just going to try recreating this again. I went and we went and proceeded with the first steps. And the moment I did it, I straight away rang the bell. Instead of just providing my workspace subscription that we need to initially create, I actually added this particular line as well, which is what the whole problem happened. So the whole logic app got built with your subscription ID along with my subscription ID. So something to be worried careful about when you guys do it. Remove that. You only need your subscription ID. So now I know where the mistake is. I'm just going to go in and I'm just going to change it here. Um, okay, so this is the history. So you just need to go back to the designer. And fix that problem. Run query here. There you go. Your subscription is not your subscription ID. Your subscription is just DC. And that's where I made a mistake. So let me just confirm. Subscription is DDC. DDC. And I just need to put a D here. Up, D here. Back to the same thing. And if I just click on save now, okay, and let me do a run trigger again. Let's hope for the best. Okay. So there is somewhere else, there is a failure. Okay, same place again. Let's have a look. Maybe it's just going to take some time. Is that the subscription ID? Let's have a look. Let's go back and let's do the good old comparison. That's what I have there. And let me go into my subscription ID here. Ah, yeah. There you go. That's the mistake here. Okay, sorry. I'll put it the next screen. Okay, so I went and copy pasted that there. I went here into my storage demo and I just clicked on subscription ID here and straight away it shows me I have an extra D there. So I go back to go back again to my Logic App Designer. It's good. It's good that you see these errors as well, rather than just going and showing you always the correct thing. There's no D there. Perfect. And that's what it is. If I just go and now save, actually you could have just added a dynamic content and put in a subscription ID if you wanted, but I was fairly sure that this is definitely the way. Oh, go overview again and run trigger. And hallelujah, you should see hallelujah, you should see something coming. Okay, so while let that run, and if it succeeds, we actually have there you go, that's ours here. I showed you we had containers and we had this one here, but there was no results or nothing inside that. So let's wait for this to run. So what this should do is it should ideally pick the data that we have created as per sample alerts. Let's do the sample alerts again, just to be 100% sure. Going. So basically just going to use sample alerts, generating some data into workspace, log analytics workspace, which should ideally be then copied through to the storage account. Click on sample alerts, create sample alerts. It's running. It's good. Let's. Is there anything that we can see here? Nothing. That's okay. Is it still running? Okay, that's fine. So I'm just going to wait for it to finish. It might take a couple more minutes, so I don't want to waste more of your time. Okay, so as you can see here, it failed again. So it took 3.4 minutes to fail. So definitely it's proceeded from where we are, because you can see it's 544 milliseconds, 3.4. So let's go and see where it failed. Okay, so this is where we fixed it. Perfect. That's okay. And hallelujah. You got the same thing here. Let's see what is the problem here. Okay, okay, same thing, same thing. That's fine. That's fine. So I'm just going to, this is our, we know this is our definitely our correct subscription. So let's go there and delete this. You can't do it from here. I always keep forgetting. Go to Logic App Designer, and from here you go again to for each, and over here you go in and you change it here. Yeah, perfect. And you then save. Okay, and just to confirm, this is the storage account, and I'm not seeing anything now. Okay, beautiful. Logic append saved. Okay, and I'm now going into overview and run trigger again, and I'll let it go. I think this is going to take again another 2 or 3 minutes. Let me come back once it's done. Hallelujah. Francis finally succeeded. So a simple mistake initially of not replacing the default URL with the real subscription ID cost about half an hour worth of time, but it's good because you guys get to see how to troubleshoot these issues. Okay, righto. So this is succeeded. That's great. If I go back to storage account, oh, okay. And if I click on refresh, as you can see now, you can start seeing all those different items. We wanted alerts, incidents, recommendations, and there you go, you've got query logs as well. So to confirm that we can see the data, um, let's go into log analytics. So let's go into the log analytics workspace. So I want to just query this data, and I'm just going to follow this document here. This document here will actually gives us a step or a query to do it. Let's use this one here. So let's take the Control C, go here, go into Azure Sentinel Workspace, because that's what we are basically using. We're just going to use that logs KQL query within that log analytics workspace to just query the data. I already have the SAS token here. Yep, there you go. I already have it here. So I'm just going to delete this up. Just going to use this. Run. So all what this is basically, if you see here, it's just telling you please provide the SAS token and SAS token of that particular storage account, the SAS token. I've already have a video which I've showed how to do this, which I will post, which I'll put in the link anyway. But to just show you that, it's very simple. You just need to go into shared access tokens here. And from here, you just go and basically you have to give it add, right? Because you want to add data into that if you need, and change this, I don't know, from 2022 to whatever suits you, 90 years, maybe not, depends on what you want, and just generate a SAS token. And that's what they're asking. You just need to put that token there. So once you do that and you click on run, yep, activity logs, that's fine. So as you can see here, it's actually referencing activity logs folder. But if you go to your storage account here, you don't have activity logs. You have, for example, security alert, which is what we want. So if you just change this to security alert, there you go. Well, yep, and you don't need any of those. There's no where functions. I just run this. Perfect. There you go. It'll now, as you can see, it's now starting to pull all those datas here. All those alerts that we have tried, it's there you go. It's all here. Cool. So hopefully this makes sense with few bloopers. It's pretty much we following the same guide here, but there are a few nuances wherein certain permissions you need to put in for your managed identity. You need to use a service principal, and also a few mistakes what I've done for you to see. Plus the script here, you need to modify this, which shows by default as activity as your activity. You need to change it to whichever you want to see as well here. Change it in the respective folders. Yep, that's about it. Thank you very much, guys. And if you like it, please feel free to like and subscribe and press the bell icon. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.